We'll begin with opening remarks from Coach Helton, and then we'll take questions both for Coach and for the student athletes.
Well, thank you. It's great to be back in New Orleans. It's great to be back at Media Days. Always signifies it's getting that much closer to training camp and getting the opportunity to play the game we love. Very thankful for not only our players and our staff for the job that they've done in the offseason after coming off our first year last year and accomplishing some great things last year with a Power 5 win, having the opportunity to get a top 25 win, having the opportunity to compete in postseason play and beat our rival. It is something that these guys didn't stay comfortable. They didn't stay stagnant. They approached the offseason with kind of a chip on their shoulder and wanting to get Georgia Southern where we want to be, and that's being a consistent team that is always competing for conference championships. Today, I've got two great examples of Georgia Southern athletes, two guys I'm really proud of, wide receiver Khaleb Hood and our linebacker Marques Watson-Trent, and we are here to answer any questions that you might have, so feel free. Go ahead.
We'll now take questions from Coach Helton and from the student athletes. For those in the room, if you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for a microphone to come to you. Since we are going out live, please state your name and your media affiliation before asking your question. And for those of you watching on Zoom, please type your questions into the chat and I'll read them aloud.
Coach Kelly Sander with Telesouth Communications in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, the Southern Miss Golden Eagle Hour. I know Paulson Stadium has had a new look a little bit in the offseason. Can you kind of bring some of us outsiders up to date as to what's taking place there at Paulson?
Yeah, we have tremendous momentum right now in Statesboro at Georgia Southern. I think it starts with our leadership and the consistency of our leadership's vision and alignment. Dr. Kyle Marrero and our athletic director, Jerry Benko, have done a tremendous job of setting a vision for our entire athletics department to be on a national branded scale and be nationally prominent. And to do that, when you're dealing with 18 to 21-year-olds, you have to have visual things, especially facilities. Over $100 million of new facilities that are going on throughout our athletic department. And in football, obviously, the new face of Paulson Stadium, not only is it the prettiest little stadium, it even got prettier. A new field surface as well as a new indoor facility. We're so thankful to the Tippins family and all our alumni that have given to our new indoor facility and practice field. Not only logistically is it going to help us with practice, but also the tailgate suites that they've done on the outside is going to produce a great game day experience. So we're very thankful for the support that we've been given, not only by our community, but by the administration as we build a national brand. And you have to have those things. So I look forward for the world to be able to see the Eagles on that brand new, beautiful field and the product that we put on it. Thanks for the question.
Got a Zoom question from Jonathan Hooker, and this is for Marques. How do you look to lead the defense with a scheme coming with defensive coordinator Bailey coming in?
Just being a leader and being an example of what the standard is every day. We have a championship mindset. That's the goal. And we have non-negotiables. So, being on time, effort, and just being a good communicator on defense is important for a good, successful defense. So making sure everybody's holding to that standard and show up every day.
Kevin Foote, Acadiana Advocate. Coach, a lot was made about you coming in and totally changing the whole offensive philosophy of a run-oriented team to passing in. And at the same time, you were learning a new conference. Just talk about how that passing game and kind of a more of a defensive-type league meshed and what improvements do y'all need to make to mesh even better?
Yeah, probably one of the biggest benefits I had was the proactivity of Jared Benko, our AD, of bringing me in November. If you remember, I got to watch the last 3 games of that 2021 season. And all of a sudden I look up and I go, oh my gosh, there's a Khaleb Hood. And there's a Derwin Burgess, and there's a Jalen White, and there's so many great skill players offensively that we can have a balanced offense, both run and pass. We needed to create depth at the quarterback position, and we were able to bring Kyle Van Treese in, who was the perfect fit for us going into year one. We've been so fortunate now to bring in Davis Brin and J.C. French to now lead that charge as we create an offense that not only stays comfortable, stays stagnant, but continues to gain prominence and to gain national respect. Probably the biggest area of growth for us, and I think Mar would say this, is the ability to now get the ball back defensively on a grander scale. And that's why we brought Coach Bailey in. I'd gotten to witness it personally in the bowl game versus Buffalo. Mike Elko, disciple, I've always been fascinated by that system. And they do the things that match up with our offense. It creates turnovers, and it creates great third down efficiency. It gets the ball back. I think about what Brandon accomplished last year at Buffalo, 7th in turnovers, top third in third down efficiency. And when that happens with the nature of this offense, you look up and you're 2-3 scores ahead, and it's hard to come back. And so that's our biggest area of growth. We did that not only with the leadership of guys like Mar, but being able to bring some transfers in that have experience at the college level to bolster a depth on our defense. And so as that defense grows each and every week, I think you're going to see a better football team each week.
Zoom question from Joey Lamar of WSAV. Coach, you just spoke about the success you had last year. Are you a little surprised you were picked to finish 5th in the East?
Well, it's the nature of us. We kind of got a chip on our shoulder. I think people saw that last year. I was really proud of our kids because I think our biggest area of growth last year was our confidence level. In 2021, coming off a 3-win season, I've been doing it 29 years. I knew what we had as a coach, but sometimes as 18 to 21-year-olds, you have to see the success that you can have. And when you walk into Lincoln, Nebraska, or you play a really good JMU team or App State, and you have success, that confidence builds, and it led into the offseason. We're not surprised that, people maybe see us middle of the road. We're still growing as a football team, but that doesn't where our mindset is. Our mindset is doing what Georgia Southern demands and expects, and that's championships. I look outside my window each and every day with a cup of coffee, and I see 6 national championship flags. So you know what you represent, the tradition of excellence that is Georgia Southern. So you fight like hell each and every day to put it back to that championship level. And these guys got that chip on their shoulder to be able to do that. So proud to be their coach.
Another question from Joey. This is for the players, for Marques and Khaleb, both named preseason All Sun Belt Conference. How do you feel about that, and does that add pressure?
Those things are definitely a great honor to be represented, and recognized by the Sun Belt. But those are just motivations, but the discipline stays the same. We still have to go out there and work. We still want to win games, and, we're all looking for a championship. So that doesn't change. But it's definitely a good feeling and a blessing to be looked at like that from your peers.
I'm really actually very thankful and grateful. Thanks to God for the opportunities that y'all gave me and voted for that. But at the end of the day, we focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's just being better as a team.
Caden Smith of Furry and Smith podcast. This one's for Coach Helton. Your style of offense, I think, is going to continue to be attractive to quarterbacks in the transfer portal. You've gotten that the last 2 seasons. I'm curious, looking forward at the position, how are you going to balance transfer portal quarterbacks wanting to come and play in that offense versus developing quarterbacks within that system?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. I'm very fortunate because I have a gentleman in Brian Ellis, who I think is one of the more dynamic coordinators in the country, and a great quarterback evaluator. I know I don't look like it anymore, but I used to play the position, coach the position too. I look like a dang offensive lineman right now. But, we've done a great job of marrying up quarterbacks to the system. And when we had Kyle, we had basically 2 years of tape to be able to study that, to see a guy that could not only be the face of a program, but be a great decision maker, have great accuracy, get the ball out, not take sacks. We had that same thing with Davis. Seeing what he did with Coach Montgomery at Tulsa, especially his sophomore year prior to being hurt his junior year, you saw the consistency of play. You saw the decision-making. I've always thought great quarterbacks lift their team up as high as they can go. We've got some great quarterbacks in this league. I saw one today in Grayson at Coastal and several others. Quarterbacks lift their team up. And that's what Davis has done in this offseason. It's what Kyle did for us last year. We're very fortunate to bring Davis in, J.C. French in from Memphis. That quarterback room has gotten deeper and fits the style of play that we want to be. And we're very fortunate to have those people in the room. Thank you for the question.
A Zoom question along those same lines from Joe Londergan of Athlon Sports. Coach, how do you feel about Davis Brent's experience from Tulsa transferring over to your system?
Yeah, it was an easy watch, and it was something that we had a tremendous sense of urgency. We had evaluated quarterbacks, especially it was going to be important for us, especially with David Dallas, who was a young quarterback we felt was very talented, still recovering from shoulder surgery, that we were going to need to go out and get the depth we needed at that position. To have the quality of tape we had on Davis, it was an easy decision. There were several other quarterbacks out there, but we had targeted Davis as the guy that fit us the best. And so credit Ryan Applin, who was a part of that recruiting process, and Davis, who had trust in us in his final year of what we could do for him. And he had visual evidence of what Kyle had done. So it was a great fit for both parties, and we're just very thankful that Davis and JC are in Statesboro, Georgia.
Coach Helton, Emmanuel Pappas, Sunbelt Conference. Just wanted to get you to talk about, much was made, of course, of the big passing numbers you guys put up, but there is some ability certainly in that running back room as well. Just wanted to get you to talk about that group and what you're most excited from them this season.
Yeah, I've said this on several of the media interviews this morning, but our best kept secret is Jalen White. He's the thing that makes the whole thing go. Him, O.J. Arnold, Terrence Gibbs now coming into play. But you look up and there's a young man that had 1,100 offensive yards, in 10 games prior to being injured. The best friend of any quarterback is a running back that can get it done right beside him. It takes the pressure off you as a quarterback when you're getting drop 8 coverages, and it produces advantage coverages to be able to throw within. We've always said that this is a balanced offense, and we're going to take what the defense gives us. Sometimes you're going to have to hand the ball off more than you throw it. Other times you're going to have the advantage of throwing it more times than running it. But make no mistake, this offense and the key to our success is how Jalen White and that running back room do and their productivity this year. It's a great question.
Coach, final question from me for the guys. A lot of coaches and players have talked about developing identities, their teams this year, but Georgia Southern, anybody that knows the history, it's all about the GATA thing. And those of us know what that acronym stands for, but what does GATA mean to each of you guys individually? I mean, I know what it means, but what?
Yeah, it narrows down to just the mentality we have, attack mentality. We also say +2. So just going the extra mile, making sure we're doing everything with extreme effort. And, that's really is the blue collar, going to work every day, showing up. And we get to be there or not, we got to be there. That's what Coach say all the time. So, just attacking every day and making every opportunity.
I feel like GATA really means just playing for each other. Even when we're not playing in just summer workouts or spring workouts, just being there for each other and pushing each other to be the best you can be that day. And then the next day we do it right again, but even harder. So it's just a mindset, to be honest with you.
Got a Zoom question from Jonathan Hooker of Southern Pigskin. This is for Khaleb. What expectations have you for yourself and for the wide receiver room for this season?
To be honest, for myself, I feel like I just want to be the best me I can be. Sky is always what I'm shooting for. As a receiver room, we just want to be the best receiving core in the nation. And that's just without a doubt.
Another question from Joey Lamar of WSAV. This for Coach. Coach, have you settled on a quarterback between J.C. French and Davis Brent? And if not, is there one who has the edge right now?
Yeah, I've said this several times. If we were to play today, it would be Davis Brin. Obviously there's 25 practices. Anything can happen from injury. But Davis has so much experience and has produced over spring that if we were to play today, he would be out there. I will say this, JC has come so far so fast and is a unique and rare talent also, and his future is so bright. The thing that we tell all the quarterbacks in the room, I don't care if you're Colton Fitzgerald or you're Kobe Walton, each and every guy has to prepare like a starter. You have to, because we play the fastest, most violent game on earth, and if you have to be ready for your opportunity. And Coach Ellis has done a great job with those quarterbacks as far as making them prepare and putting them with the first team huddle and seeing how they react. And so we prepare each guy like they got to go out each Saturday and perform. But if we were to play today, it would be Davis.
Coach Kevin Foote, Acadian Advocate. Y'all have kind of become PKU, so tell us about the kicking situation.
Yeah, we have a long, honored tradition of specialists. You think about Koo and you think about Tyler Bass and what they mean to our program. I'm so thankful to have Turner West as our special teams coordinator. We made an investment over the last year that we were going to make special teams an asset to our program. And so we brought Turner in, and that's what he does. His whole life's function right now is to make our special teams better, and we made a significant improvement in last year's team and actually won games because of our special teams rather than losing. I think about the young men that are out there right now, whether it's Frankie, whether it's Mike Lance, who's kicking the ball extremely well, Alex Smith, our Aussie punter that is coming in, that has the ability to drop it wherever he wants to. The future continues to remain bright in that phase. I love how Coach West calls it we fence. We have offense, defense, and we fence. It's every one of us fighting like heck to make that phase of the game important because it ends up winning championships.
This is for Marques. I just wanted to get you to talk about going up against an offense like this in practices and throughout the offseason and what it does as far as how beneficial it is to prepare you guys for the types of offenses you'll see this season, not only in non-conference, but once you get to conference play.
Man, I feel like it's the funnest thing in the world to go against one of the number one offenses in the nation. You got guys like Khaleb Hood, Derwin Burgess, Jalen White. I feel like we compete every single day, so it only gets you better. And then we talk about the tempo with the new rules and things like that with the first down and everything, so it only speeds up the game, and we're used to that. So preparing every day and every week with them guys, man, it's a blessing.
Question for Coach, or rather for Marques and Khaleb. What was the biggest difference last year in playing for Coach Helton?
To be honest with you, playing for Coach Helton is different in the standpoint that we know that Coach Helton loves us, and he also brought guys around us that loves us as well. So when it comes to us playing, like, we want to do everything to make Coach smile, make our brothers smile, make all the coaches smile. So it's just like we're all a big family at the end of the day.
For me, we talk about the standard. Coach Helton is the standard. And he preached that when he came in. By everything he do, the way he dresses, the way he talks to you, it's a respect and a professionalism that he brings to the organization. And we just all try to replicate that. Coming in every day, like I said before, we get to be here. He brings that every day, and he doesn't miss a beat. So I'm happy to play for him. I'll run through a brick wall for him, and I'm loved that he's here.
Any other questions from the room? If not, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck to you this season.
Thank you, guys. Hail Southern.
Hail Southern.
We will now break for